Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Plough Lane. After what was a game, as a football cliche, a game of two halves. We obviously beat Weymouth 3-1 in our replay of the first round proper, and we go in to play Chesterfield in the next round at home.
Yep.
Joined by, to my right by Stuart Deacon, to my left by Robert Boyce.
Evening.
Fellas.
I am concentrating.
Okay, I'll come back to you in a second.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find a stat because
What's your general takeaway from that?
Like I said, it's a game of two halves. You know, first half, you know, they're up for it. This coming to a pitch like this, they probably don't see this very often in Conference South with this, you know, this quality of pitch. Tuesday night, they brought a good following for considering, you know, and they made a lot of noise. You know, for them, I don't want to belittle Weymouth, but for them, this is their cup final type thing. You know, stepping up to a League Two side, you know, they probably put an extra 10-15%. We might have probably started. I think we started a bit slowly in. You know, if we drop by 10%, they go up by 10%, and you know, you meet in the middle. And first of all, it was quite an even game. You know, I thought, to be fair, I was kind of worried for probably a spell that they were going to get the first goal, and then they'd be really fired up. And you know what it's like if Weymouth go one up, it gives them something to cling on to. But in the end, I think the quality told. You know, especially we made 3 subs, brought on some fresh legs, and you know, in the end, Asal's quality and Chislett's quality changed the game for us.
Absolutely. Comment there from Mick Smith. Good win next up, Wembley. Well, if we get far on Tuesday,
we've got a few more rounds.
Papa John's will be there quicker.
Recording Plough Lane, Wembley, which
Pete Stephen, who scored? It was Asal to start with, and then a Chislett brace, which all goals were really well taken. I want to say the last one was an unreal little sequence. The little flick from Pell was the absolute ice on the cherry, and Chislett just tucked it away with ease past former Don Zaki Waller, who, do you know what? I thought he had an alright game, to be fair to him.
Yeah, it's going to be.
He made some good saves. Yeah,
it's going to be a firing line, wasn't it?
Yeah, out of the 2 keepers, he was probably the better one on the pitch, actually. And
the interesting thing was we made subs that changed game.
Yes, absolutely.
And we haven't been able to do that, have we?
Yeah, I think Chislett coming on, and I think because we put out like a bit of a weaker team, you could bring those stronger players that would usually start on. And yeah, you definitely noticed that when Chislett came on, he brought the game really, really to life. And in my eyes, deserved a hat trick, but so he could take that match ball home, but it was not to be. I think we're going to give everyone remember to comment and give us your thoughts on the game, and we'll react to them as they come in over on Facebook and on YouTube. Not Twitter.
Both of them. I was just looking at the AFC South. So before we went on, we were talking about how many goals AFC's got. So 6 in the last 7 games.
It's not
that
a bad run.
He's our top scorer now, isn't he? With 8 in all competitions, I think.
He's just about getting close to bookings as he is goals. He's got 7 bookings, 3 in the last 7, and I doubt any of them for a foul. He's just, I'm going to call him Kevin. Like Kevin Perry, isn't it? It's just like he's so
moody. Yeah,
he's such a grumpy. I suppose you know what? I think he needs that, but it just feels like they were getting to him, weren't they? And Harry Pell was trying to take him away from trouble, which I found a bit ironic because Harry Pell's normally in the trouble, isn't he? But you wonder whether Arab needs that. But the amount of bookings he's picking up, he's going to be getting close.
Did he pick up another one tonight? Did he? Or,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
I must have missed that. I missed his goal because I was chatting to Andy, and Andy was telling me a funny story, which unfortunately I can't remember. But so I missed the first goal, but I saw him reeling away with celebration on that side of things. I could imagine he probably cut in and put in the bottom bins. I could imagine.
Kind of the keeper. And the goal cam will be very good tonight because it was directly in front of them. I think they've learned where to celebrate now because they ran that way. Sorry, just a quick comment there on screen from Matthew Harwood. Chiz better as an impact player off the bench. Do you know what? I'd argue he is, but I do think he's very good when he starts. But who starts ahead of him? Because I think Courtney Senior was off it again tonight. He showed a bit of pace, but I don't think against the Weymouth. Obviously, no offence to Weymouth, but he should be tearing those people apart. You know what I mean?
You know, for me, I think the big thing which is why I'd start him is his set piece delivery. You know, first off we had Dave Fisher on set pieces, and you could tell the quality of delivery, quality of ball really shows. And that's why for me Chislett gets in the starting lineup over anyone else. I wouldn't have him as an impact player. It'll be interesting when JJ has Nathan Young-Coombs fit, because Nathan Young-Coombs can play on the wing. He's done that for Brentford before, and I think that's the place he's going to be challenging for, is him and Chislett, because he's not going to dislodge Davison or Asal or Pell. So I think that'll be interesting when he does come back fit.
An interesting point I had, obviously, with NYC's return. Do we go back to a 5-back maybe? Yeah, sorry. Nathan Young-Coombs, not New York City.
Just abbreviations of names, isn't it? You've got Harry Pell is H.
Yes.
The original football nicknames, isn't it?
Yeah. You've got to get down with the kids, Stu, you know.
You're right. Do you know what? It's interesting, isn't it? Because tonight, it worked out well. We were able to, got Alex Pearce got 60 minutes.
Yes.
David Fisher got some time, so we were able to, and also Hussein Barney come on. So we were able to give them time, but no disrespect to Weymouth, I think they were the right position, weren't they? Can we afford to do that? Because Chiswick would be, I don't have so much impact out of the bench, but I think just being able to rotate the squad, isn't it?
Yeah, and it brings him with full legs on, so he's going against a tired back line that probably aren't used to playing at that sort of tempo.
Well, they were cramping up, weren't they?
Yeah, I wasn't at Weymouth. That wasn't at the first round of it, but I imagine that playing on that pitch, we're going to have run them ragged, I imagine. And on the break, we were just so dangerous. Yep. Every time to pushing forward, Pell just charging through with Davison. Yeah, he's our target man when we've got one on the bench. Well, not today, but usually in the league.
Can I just say we would be more dangerous if Vassal got his head up from time to time? There's one brilliant...
And looked at the
there was one brilliant break he made, and there's 5 players running up with him. We ended up getting a corner from it, but I can't help but feel, just get the ball in the box. Just get your head up, He's such a good player, and he's a match winner, so, I don't want to criticise Vassal too much because he is a class act. There's somebody who's made a comment saying, Vassal makes a huge difference from A. Khan there. And I agree, he does. But sometimes he does frustrate me.
I think he outdoes himself by, he's really good on the pitch, but I've left that with a bit of a sour taste in my mouth because he threw a strop at the end, what it looked like, and he just... Something about him, you look at it, when people were comparing him and Rudy last year, Rudy was always a step above, I think, in terms of mentality
but also Rudy has had a season or two ahead of him. You've got to bear in mind, Rudy was playing at Kingsmeadow, Vassal wasn't. So
yeah, that's a very
I think
good
he's
point.
just got more appearances. But you know what, as with Vassal, he's got that kind of aggressive streak, or he's got that nastiness in him, he's got that bit between his teeth. I don't think you want him to lose that. Some of the top players in the world...
I think he could rein it in a little bit.
He could, but I think will we learn that over time with a bit of maturity?
Yeah, exactly. I think with the talent squad he's got around him and the experience like Pearce, Pell, those heads will be able to kind of guide him in the right way. Yep. We haven't got particularly any experienced strikers, so in terms of an attacking kind of mindset.
No, I was going to say with Ayo as well, 4 of his goals have been in cup competitions, only 4 in the league, which cup Pompey, but 2 against Weymouth and stuff like that. But I think it's just consistency, which is really difficult to argue when he's just scored 6 in the last 7.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think
he's putting numbers up.
I think Joey Jackson he wants him to be more selfish. I get that. But there's a balance because Rob is right. There was some time we were breaking. There was 3 runners, and I think he's gone deaf and he's gone blind at the same time. Do you know what I mean?
So he's turned into you, Stu.
Well, yeah. Do you know what I mean? But it's difficult to argue against it, though, isn't it? That's your problem.
Do you know his kind of form? He's scored 7 or 8 goals now, and I think he said 4 in his last 5. Is that because he's now playing on the wing? We changed formation to a 4-2-3-1. Is that where you get the best from Vassal, do you think?
It's almost like Tom Large called it at the start of the season. He's not a great striker, but he's a good winger. I
still think the formation is a bit, I don't know, it's a bit mismatched, isn't it? Because I
think it gives us an identity now, though. I think it's.
But have we got the right player?
I think we're getting the right players in terms, we're halfway there. I think Pell in that 10 role is exactly what we need with someone like Davison. Yeah. He can win the ball. He's got a bit about him going forward. And as we saw against Leighton Orient, he's got a strike on him as well. So he's the perfect player in that role. I think someone like Chiswick or Southwick's a lot bit lost in there sometimes when Davison's getting marked up and then they're kind of in that mix. When they're out a bit wider, they can drag the defenders wider, and then Davison gets more spare time.
And let's be fair, 8 unbeaten.
Yeah.
8 unbeaten into the next round of the cup.
George Jones will be gutted.
George Jones will be gutted.
Eighth game unbeaten. He'll be gutted to miss that one tonight. 3 goals. JJ's doing well.
I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I don't feel I'm going to be. What
do you want to tell?
It's not been the most convincing 8 games. If someone said to me, how do you feel after 8 games unbeaten, you'd think you'd be buzzing, but I think a lot of games we've been quite lucky, and a lot of them have been draws.
But
difficult. I know what you're saying. Difficult to say you've been lucky with 8 games.
Sorry, not all of them. Yeah, there's been a couple.
You're right. Yeah, Harrogate. As we fair, Harrogate, we were 2-1 down and we were struggling, and we've turned it around. I suppose the argument is if you're 8 unbeaten and you're not playing anywhere near what you think you can. Yeah. It's that old thing, isn't it? We've got players coming back. So Alex Pearce today was interesting. I think it was a question, wasn't there? From
how was he in a 4? I think you could see he wasn't up to match speed, but I think that's because he's been out for a while and he's going now back into a new system. Don't get me wrong, he would have trained that there in the week, but there's nothing like match practice, like being in an actual match. So I think he looks okay, but then what did he have to do if you think about it? You're not having a League 2 striker up against them.
They were decent, don't get me wrong, they were decent.
First half.
Weymouth were decent in the first half. We encouraged them by letting them have the ball and not winning seconds. All the things in the FA Cup is getting the basics done, isn't it? But all we can do is get through. That's the thing. I just think it'd be interesting. Like I say, I agree with you. 8 games unbeaten, you're going to go, well, actually, we're playing really well. We're not. We're getting through games. We've got a formation that we've sort of stumbled across, but we've actually got players come in, Lee Brown, Will Nightingale, or Nathan Young-Coombs. Hopefully we recall some of our loan signings.
Zach Robinson.
Well, you know what I mean? Dundee's horrible in January and February, so you don't want to be that far north.
Exactly.
I think it was
an interesting comment there from Drew Fawcett. What do you all feel is the biggest key to the unbeaten streak? And you know what? I think it's just consistency. Having that same set of players going out, or more or less the same set of players, the same front line, the same back line. Having Towler and Piqué as a partnership, I think, has been, and I'm going to get called out here probably for it not being the exact same lineup somewhere from someone will have the stat, but I think it's got to have played a part into having consistency. It's something we've struggled with injuries, but
I think it's low risk football. Like you know, we were saying at the beginning of the season, when we got beaten up by Northampton and Barrow, they did the basics right, not the ball down the channels, 1 second balls, kept us camped in, and we were trying to play pretty football, weren't we? I just think we play low risk football now. We stay in games because we don't make mistakes.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Like if Nathan Broom comes in tonight, but Nick Zanev looks like before we were worried, weren't we, with the ball at Nick's feet and stuff like that. I just think we're playing low risk football, which means that you stay in game long enough.
Play percentages, only play into the channels. I think there's 3 things I think I agree with you. If I would play, this 4-2-3-1, playing it into the channels, like I said, take less risks. I think number 2 is Woodyard coming back. I think it's no coincidence that our form was upturned with Woody coming back. Number 3 is I just think we've got some characters in this squad now. I think that's why we're starting to go on a run of form. You saw it late in the Orient. Harry Pell really got the bit between the teeth and got the crowd up, and just having that bit of experience. Harry Pell's a real League 2 player, Woodyard's a real League 2 player.
Leaders as well.
Leaders, and I think them 3 things combined is what.
Just habits, isn't it?
Yeah, them 3 things combined is what has probably seen us turn the corner. And of course, results breed confidence as well, don't they? It hasn't always been pretty, but we're getting over the line. And I think there was a comment earlier by one of you two or on the screen about I think you said it felt a bit lucky. But I mean, unless you're Man City, especially in League 2, I think most games can go either way.
We've been, like last season, I'd argue, there was a lot of moments that didn't go our way. So it's nice to actually have a few times where, Harrogate, for example, did we deserve to win? Probably not. And after the first half today, I thought we do not deserve to be in this, but we really turned it round.
So Jackson, I'm just looking at the comments coming in. Stuart Jones telling someone to shut up. I think we've got a Weymouth fan who's. Hey, look, do you know what? We got away with it at their place.
Yeah.
But, you get a job done.
Yeah, absolutely.
You get a job done, don't you? Do you know what I mean? Weymouth, I thought Weymouth were a credit. Like, they were lively. I don't think they were certain properly when they come in.
You know what? I agree with the. I was
going
to say I agree with the Weymouth fans' comment. He said that we were lucky not to go out in the first round. Weymouth was actually a hard place to go to in the FA Cup in terms of them conditions. It suited Weymouth on that pitch. And tonight they've come to our pitch under our conditions and. The quality's kind of told in the end. But I agree, FA Cup, that's what it's all about, isn't it? Magic of the Cup for, how many League 2, League 1 sides go out.
Yeah, do you know, I thought it'd be a lot less, and I think we made a bit, obviously they were very loud, but it was, without using the cliche phrase, a big day out, but it was, going to a league football club on a Tuesday night under the lights, like for me, Tuesday night football is like the pinnacle of football.
Yeah.
Under the lights, it's like class, and that's going to be a great away day for them.
The good news was,
it's not because they lost, but
because it wasn't so packed. I could go to My Pie and get some sausage rolls with relative ease.
Yeah. So sensational. Shout out My
Pie. We forget as well. If this was at Kingsway, it would probably been close to a sellout. It looks half empty because we've got 9,000 seats tonight in the East Stand. Yeah. But the South Stand and the West Stand were good numbers there tonight. And
just a comment there I've noticed from Adam Hillman. Woodyard is key and general back 4 and not overpassing. Overpassing is such a big one. It's that 1-2 between Brown and Pearce. Brown and Pearce used to rack up more passes than most of them get in a season.
That clip was still hilarious, wasn't it? When they showed them passing to each other.
Just needed a bit of Benny Hill music over the top of it, didn't you?
They didn't used to know what to do, it seemed to be. Then they just, like I said so many times before, leather it back to Zanev and they clear it and then we'd lose the ball. And it's just like a constant repeat. And whilst I've brought Zanev up, I don't think Broom was convincing. I think he needs a loan. When Jaskalainen back, I think he goes out on the short.
It's so difficult when you sit on the bench.
I don't think he was great. I don't think he was great for the goal. I think he.
No, I like his kicking. I think his kicking's decent.
He's quick. He's a quick.
Yeah.
It's not secret isn't the word, but the way he picks the ball up and goes straight away, it's really quick and noticeably quicker than Nick. That's something we picked up when I was looking in the South Stand. But I think there was, like you said, it's probably because he sat on the bench all season. But I think regular football when he's only 20, he's got good attributes in his distribution.
Yeah.
And I think if he can get regular football to work on his shot stopping and that kind of match work stuff, I mean, he did palm the ball into their striker who missed a very open goal.
Yeah,
and then they hit the crossbar.
I don't think he thought the ball was going to. To be fair, I don't think anyone thought he was going to parry it back into.
No, I thought he would have picked
into
up
there. But yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it, with Broom? I think it's difficult to shine sometimes
Especially in this sort of game. I mean, to be fair, Weymouth had a lot more chances than I thought they were going to.
Yep.
It might have been because I didn't go to that first round, like the initial game, and I didn't really know what I was expecting of them. When you go just off the stats, bottom of the National League, North, South. Struggling with my geography today. Bottom of the National League South, you think that it's going to be a bit of a walk
They
in the
kept
park.
calling us northern people.
Yeah. Well, to be fair to them,
everyone is northern, isn't it?
Yeah, we are. That's a good point. apart from Plymouth, they're probably slightly.
Could be a derby, Weymouth, Plymouth, couldn't it? Obviously, I know we've updated fixtures because I didn't want to be the football gods. I didn't want to put a fixture in, but we now have that game.
Fixture is a lot more congested now, isn't it? I didn't know it came in between Sutton and Grimsby. I think we'll go very weak against Sutton and then rest our players for that.
You know what? I don't think we can afford to, because
I don't think we can. I think we will.
Through the round against Sutton, that's the last 16. There's big money in it for getting through the round.
20k win.
Yeah,
I think doubles to 40k, and it's cup football. Do you know what? It's a difficult one, isn't it? Because it's a competition isn't. Hey, look, there's boycotts on it. Let's not get away from that. Do you know what I mean? But if you're entering a competition, there's now money involved in it.
Yeah.
And we budget to go out of the cup in every cup in the first round and play away. So it's all additional income now. So those morals now are a little bit difficult, aren't they?
Especially when it's a local derby as well. You know, that really makes it a bit interesting or a bit tricky. You know.
Yeah, their players will want payback on the pitch.
And they knocked us out the Papa John's Trophy last season. So, you know.
They've got history, they'll do it again. But no, I think that's going to be a difficult week for us, going to Chesterfield. Is it home at Sutton? Home to Sutton and home to Chesterfield. I think it makes it a slightly bit easier than I initially had in my head, but I don't think that's an easy week, especially when they're not league fixtures, which should... What do you prioritise in that? Do you prioritise the league or it's so difficult. I'd like to get a big team in the third round.
Exactly, you're one game away from the third round. We've got a home draw. Chesterfield third in the conference, look decent, but then, hey look, if you look at what was available, a home draw against a team in the lower division is probably a decent draw. Just getting to the third round and hope we get
City at home, because Harlan won't be able to attack against Paul Callenby. So
when you think that we could have easily got a League One side, isn't it, like Charlton or somebody like that? But Chesterfield, I mean, they're one place below Wrexham. It isn't. I think a lot of people will see it again as it's a non-league side.
I think it's going to be a struggle.
It's not, and the thing is, a lot of our fans are going to be desperate for us to get in, because you've got the coward of the third round, like I said, playing potentially against Haaland, and co.
Chesterfield will sell away now as well.
Yeah, they'll sell
for them.
Yeah.
So actually, money-wise, I know we keep talking about money, but let's be fair, it's really important for the January window.
JJ's going to want some to spend, isn't he?
Yeah, I think that January window will then kind of decide, I think, what happens in the rest of the season, whether we settle for kind of mid-table mediocrity or we make a push for those. But I'm not saying we'll get playoffs, but make an attempt to try and get there and pick up results. Because as we're going currently,
doesn't take much, does it? I know we've got Leeds out. It doesn't take much really to get in there. What are we, 23 points now?
We're 7 points off.
7 points off. That's nothing really. 2 wins.
Basically League One this year, aren't we? But no, jokes aside, there's been some funny results in this league this year, and teams are picking up points left, right, and centre. For example, Crawley down in 18th. I think that's going to change. I think they've changed a bit of form now. They seem to be picking some results up. However, I'm very well aware it's past the 10th hour of the evening, so we will wrap it up. We will wrap up.
It was quite early.
And, is that your bedtime? 10 o'clock?
About 3 hours ago. It's been out the window for a
we
while.
went from a stage, didn't we, where we couldn't get a win, and we were like, now we just get a bit complacent, like
standard now, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know about you, but even at Lane Orient, I wasn't sitting there thinking how we can close the game out. We're just closing the games out. Yeah. Where if you go back,
I think there was nothing to lose though. If you lost that game 3-2, you're thinking, well, they're top of the league.
But we're getting, what I mean by his habits. We're getting used to winning now.
Yeah.
As fans, we're not as, I know Weymouth are bottom of the National League South, but beat Lane Orient the week before.
You can only beat what's in front of you. Just take it one game at a time.
Go to Tranmere, they're going to love us on Saturday, aren't they? That's a bit of a grudge game.
Yeah, I didn't realise. I forgot about that. That's going to be interesting.
The Alex Woodyard derby.
Yeah, he's played for them.
He played for Tranmere.
For them.
Yeah, and then obviously they cancelled the season and then come to us, which upset him even more, because had the season gone on, there's an argument that they might have signed him. Little fun fact for you. I
think we would have stayed up, personally. Not in that run form we were in.
I hope there's no Tranmere fans listening tonight, because I think they'll disagree with you.
Yeah, probably. I'm going, so probably not good for me to get protection. Anyways, we will sign off for this evening. Pleasure to have Stuart Deakins and Robert Boyce joining me this evening. Have a lovely evening.